This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 7, Episode 23, Uttarakand, Sita's Banishment and Death. In the previous episode, we saw many instances of how the Uttarakand is inconsistent with what Valmiki has carefully described in the earlier Kands. For example, the Uttarakand shows Ravan as a weakling in his battle with Vali, which is obviously an incorrect depiction of the Rakshas king. Let us now read what the Uttarakand says about two important events in Sita's life. We will again see that Maharshi Vamiki could not have written the Uttarakand. The first event is said to have happened soon after the coronation. Life had finally settled down in a pleasant rhythm for Ram and Sita. One day, Sita told Ram that she was expecting their child. Ram's happiness knew no bounds. But that very evening, Ram heard from a friend that the people were deeply unhappy about one thing. They thought that Ram should not have got back with Sita after she had been kidnapped by Ravan. They argued that this gave their wives an open pass to stray from their marriage vows. The citizens suspected Sita because of the time she had spent in Lanka. Had she been unfaithful to Ram during that time?
I thought this was only about one washerman's remarks.
The story of the washerman is mentioned in some other retellings. According to the Uttarakand, this was not a one-off complaint. There was widespread discontent among the citizens because of this issue. Further, the Uttarakand tells us Ram checked with his advisors whether the friend's report was true, and they all confirmed that it was. Ram then made his decision. Buddhya nishchitya Raghavah. He called Bharat, Lakshman and Shatrughna and said, "The people are saying all sorts of things about Sita, and they are also talking ill of me for not leaving her. I know that she is not at fault. But there is nothing more important than one's reputation, one's glory. There is nothing worse than infamy. Apyaham jivitam chahyam, yushman va purusharshabhah, apavad bhayad bhitah, kim punar janakatmajam." My brothers, to prevent people from speaking ill about me, I am willing to give up my life. I am willing to give up all of you. Then what to talk of Sita? Lakshman, please go and drop off Sita near Maharshi Vamiki's ashram. And I don't want to hear a single word from anyone challenging my command. Just do as I say.
Did Ram really say these things?
Valmiki's Ram could not have said this. Note the glaring contradictions between the story of Sita's banishment as told here and what we know from the earlier Kands. To begin with, remember what Valmiki had explicitly told us at the end of Uttarakand. After Ram's coronation, everyone was happy and all was well in the land. Ram was immensely popular among the citizens, and he ruled like this for many, many years. The Uttarakand's position that there was widespread discontent among the citizens after Ram's coronation is inconsistent. Next, according to the Uttarakand, Ram punished Sita even after acknowledging that she was not at fault. Could Valmiki's Ram have done such a thing? How could such a punishment be as per dharma? How could Ram, of all people, do anything that went against dharma? Remember, in the Kat-Chit conversation of Season 3, Ram had told Bharat that no innocent person should ever be punished. And if indeed there was any controversy, would Valmiki's Ram make any decision that affected Sita without speaking to her? We have seen Ram and Sita always communicated freely, sharing thoughts and debating options. In Season 2, Episode 9, Ram and Sita argued and debated whether Sita should come for the Vanvas. Later, in Season 4, Episode 2, they discussed whether they should tackle the Rakshasas while leading an ascetic life. Further, would Valmiki's Ram make such an important decision for the state without consulting his advisors? In Episode 3 of this season, remember how Ram consulted all the Vanar leaders regarding Vibhishan. And Ram had told Bharat during the Katchit questions how a king must consult his ministers before making important decisions. Further, consider this. At the end of the Agni Pravesh incident in Lanka, Ram had proclaimed, "Sita is not at fault in any way. I will never leave her. It is just not possible. Na vihatum maya shakya." We are inseparable, just as the sun's rays are inseparable from the sun itself. Now, how could Ram break his word and send Sita away? The same Ram who went into exile for 14 years to uphold his father's word. The same Ram about whom the people of all lands had said this in Season 2, Episode 1. Rama Satpurusho Loke Satya Satyaparayanaha. In this world, Ram is the very embodiment of Satya. Next, consider the reason Ram supposedly gives for sending Sita away. That the whole controversy was clouding his glory.
I thought that Ram asked Sita to leave because he considered his royal duties more important than his duties towards his family.
Many people who hold Ram in high regard often make this argument. At the same time, others think that Ram should not have done so. But note, the Uttarakand does not make this argument. According to the Uttarakand, Ram banished Sita because he was concerned about his own reputation. Apavada bhayat bheetah. He was afraid of the controversy and how it would affect him. Which of course is absurd. Ram's defining characteristic was his empathy, his concern for others. His personal interest was simply absent from any of his decision-making. And finally, according to the Uttarakand, Sita did not mean all that much to Ram. Ram supposedly tells his brothers, "I am willing to give up all of you, then what to talk of Sita?" However, we know how dearly Ram loved Sita, how he had become stark raving mad when he first found out that she was missing. Bhrant unmatta iva lakshate. How he had thundered that for Sita he would take on the 3 worlds. How he had pined for her all those months she was in Lanka. How he had lamented, "Yam vina notsahe muhurtamapi jivitum." I cannot live for a moment without Sita. How he had said that if he could be with Sita, he would not wish for anything else in the world, not even Ayodhya. Sprihayeyam na Ayodhyayai. And Sita also knew how Ram felt about her. She had told Hanuman in Season 6, Episode 7, "Na chasya mata, na pita, na chanyah, snehad vishishtosti maya samova." There is no one in this world that Ram loves more than me, not his mother, father, or anyone else. Clearly, the story of Sita's banishment in the Uttarakand completely misses the mark on who Ram was and what Sita meant for him. The second event in Sita's life that the Uttarakand describes is her death. Sita started living in Maharshi Vamki's ashram after being sent away by Ram. There she gave birth to the twins Love and Kush. When the brothers were growing up in Valmiki's ashram, he composed the Ramayana and taught the verses to them. We are told that the Maharshi had foreseen events in Ram's life up to his death. Therefore, the Ramayana that he taught the boys described even the incidents that had not yet happened. The boys started traveling across the land and reciting the Adikavya. Once, Valmiki and the boys came to the Naimish forest to take part in an Ashwamedha Yajna being conducted by Ram. The boys recited the Ramayana in Ram's presence. Ram realized then that they were his own sons. He sent messengers to call Sita. He supposedly wanted Sita to prove her innocence in court. Sita came to the court and said, "Not once have I strayed through my actions or my words. I have never even thought of anyone other than Ram. If what I say is true, may the earth take me in her lap." A throne appeared from the earth. Mother Earth picked up Sita in her arms, placed her on the throne, and took her to the world beyond. Sita was no more. We are told that Ram was sad and he announced a break in the festivities for the evening. Love and Kush continued their recitation of the Ramayana the next morning. Think about it. Is this at all plausible? Would Ram ask Sita to prove her innocence even when he knew that she was innocent? Would Sita not fire back some stinging retort? Even if Sita had to be away from Ram, would he not check on her and the children in all these years? Would he not recognize his own children? Love and Kush presumably knew the entire Ramayana, including events that had not yet happened. So they must have known that their mother was going to die when she came to the court. In such a case, would they happily sing about it? And after Sita's death, would Ram, Love and Kush continue with the Ramayana recitation the next morning as though nothing much had happened? Just like the story of Sita's death, the Uttarakand's description of Ram's end is also questionable. We are told that when Ram felt that the time had come, he walked into the waters of Sarayu and gave up his life. All the citizens of Ayodhya, men and women, young and old, followed him into the waters and gave up their lives too. Incredibly, we are told that Ram explicitly permitted them to do so. How could Valmiki's Ram do such a thing? He had not allowed anyone to follow him even on the day of his exile. Would Ram ever allow innocent people, including children, to kill themselves for his sake? Clearly, the Uttarakand was not authored by Maharshi Vamiki. The incidents narrated in the Uttarakand, Shambuk's story, Sita's banishment, and Sita's death in Ram's court are therefore not Itihaas.
So what happened in the end?
As told in the Uttarakand, Ram ruled for many years and led the empire through a glorious period of well-being and prosperity. Everyone was happy and all was well in the land. Sarvam muditameva-sit. And that is the end of the Valmiki Ramayan. Srimad Valmiki Ramayanam Sampurnam. What a journey it has been. We started off in Season 1, Episode 1 with some questions about the Ramayana. Valmiki has told us the answers to those and so much more. But before we go, we must look at one last question. And that is perhaps the most important one. How is all this relevant in today's world? We shall look at this in the next episode, the 100th and the final episode of this series. Itihaas. That is how it happened.